the first thing we're going to want to do is make sure that we have our shark defined and we know all of our outlines. So let's use our smallest brush that we have in our toolkit, and that's going to be our round brush. So your kind of long bristled, comes to a point, round brush. So we're going to go around and outline our shark again and find all of our points before we fill it in. And we're going to be using teal to do that. Now we're using teal just in case we have an oopsie, we kind of go outside our guidelines. It's going to be much easier to get rid of than if we were using white. So that's why we're going to be using this color. So I can actually still faintly see a lot of my lines, especially these ones in the very back. So if you just look closely, you should be able to find them. And if not, if you just go back and reference this video at one of the earlier stages, you'll be able to follow along and see where you can add in those details again. So just lightly adding in those lines again. And as I'm looking at that, I actually just realized that that was even thicker. Just like that. So there's nothing new at this point other than just redefining your shark's edges. And this is just going to help you have some peace of mind as you're adding in your colors again. All right. Go ahead. Get that fin. Excellent, guys. Almost done with your outline. And as soon as you're done with that, we're going to hop right into color blocking. Excellent. So now that you have your outlines in, you know where your shark is again, let's go ahead and put that round brush away. And let's switch back over to our medium flat brush. That's this guy right here. Now using our medium flat brush, we're going to be mixing up a color first. And this is going to be our base color that we're going to fill in our whole shark in, at least the gray part, and then we're going to do a different color for the counter shading, which is the underbelly, the white area of our shark. So first, we're going to start with the dark area, and that's going to be using our carbon black right here. Just grab some of that black. It's a very warm black, and it's almost kind of greeny or even a little bit yellow in it. I love it. It's perfect for making great white sharks. Skin color and skin tone. So you're going to use some of that carbon black, and then you're going to grab some of your teal. And you're going to mix those two together, and you're going to get a lovely gray color. And so you're going to mix up a good portion of this, and you're going to start to fill them in completely. And don't worry about covering up your gills. And of course, I mean, if you really want to keep them, you can add in maybe some pure black. You can add in that movement in those areas just so you can see them as you're developing your colors around. Grab some more of your teal, add it to your painting as your add the teal to your color while it's still wet on your great white shark, and just let it feather in. And you're going to be going up into those lines that we just made and covering those up for the most part, but of course you can leave like a tiny sliver of it, and it actually can be like a nice little soft highlight. Just like that. And then go ahead and grab some white as well and toss that in, especially on the side of the face, around the cheek, on top of the head. Also going to be using a little bit of that white going down the back, over the belly area. You see how I'm like patting in, like little feathering kind of little motions with this flat brush? And that's just because we're trying to feather in, as I'm saying, this color, making it mix and be kind of impressionistic, a little abstract in the way we're color mixing. So we're not necessarily going for perfect realism here, guys. We're going for the impression of this animal with very soft details. So I have to top off with some teal. Grab a little bit more of that teal color, add it into the cheek. Again, I'm going to go through with the gills and the gill area. Kind of define those a bit more. And another reason why the teal works so well is because, like all animals in their habitat, they are trying to blend in. So their colors actually reflect the colors that are around the environment. So that's something you always need to keep in mind when you're creating artwork, is that your subject is reflecting light and color. So of course, our great white shark is going to be reflecting blue. Let's take more of our color and let's go ahead and fill in our dorsal fin. At the base of it, you're going to want to add in some black. Just like so. And now using, again, more of our black and teal mix, a little bit more heavier on the black. I'm going to fill in the tail way back here and the pelvic fin. And keep in mind, even though I'm using a flat brush, if you're more comfortable with using that small round brush, please do that. This is just one of the many ways that you can create this piece with a flat brush. But feel free to use what makes you most comfortable. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and fill in our pectoral fin, and I'm going to add a bit of white to this mix because his pectoral fin is outwards from his body, and so it would be catching some more of the light than some of the sides of his body. Even do a little sliver back there. Excellent. And now we're going to fill in the caudal fin and then do a few more dark details around the face. But first we're going to mix up our next color. So we're going to just add a little bit of blue and black mixed together to get our darker gray color. So we're using that phthalo blue, black, and a little bit of teal mixed together to get this one. This is a darker value of our gray. And so we need it in the areas that are furthest away from the forward perspective, what's in the foreground, and also in areas where there is intense shadow or there needs to be contrast to create more form. So we'll be using this darker color throughout this entire painting. But right now we're just trying to get in those basic color blocking areas and getting ourselves settled in with using our tools, and then we'll really get into the details in the next part of our lesson. And so the last thing I'll say is add a little bit more of that dark blue color down to the bottom, down here. And we can go back in with a bit of white if you would like, a bit of white and a little bit of teal. If you want to blend that back into the body, just like so. And just so you know, if you accidentally go outside your lines really quickly, if you wipe it away, it should come right off. So like I just did right there. All good. All right, great. So now we're going to do the counter shading underbelly. And the counter shading is a type of camouflage that many shark species use where the upper portions of their body is darker than the belly. And that's because from above, it's harder to see them because they're dark, so they blend in with the depths. And from below, they're harder to see because their white belly blends in with the brightness and the light of the sun shining through. So our underbelly is going to be a mix of white, teal, and a teeny tiny bit of phthalo blue to start with. So this is just our main core, what I say core color that is found in this region. And then we'll be pushing and pulling the value and saturation in either direction to both dark and light to create more form and to get all of those details. And so the white of our shark actually goes up about halfway around the side of the body, especially right up here on the face and the cheek. So it's going to go halfway up the gills. Our white will be there, and then it tapers off very fast when it reaches pectoral fin. Continues on the other side. First, we're going to go ahead and fill in our entire belly and face area. And again, that is the nostril and the nose. If you kind of lose it right here, it's okay. We'll find it later. And then for a piece of the white portion of the body that's further away, you're going to add just a little bit more of that darker blue color, the phthalo blue, to create the shadows. And you're going to use this darker portion down here by the belly, behind the pectoral fin. bring it up to the belly a little bit more. And this add a little bit, the very, very far edge of the tail. Just like so. And we're even going to bring a little bit of that phthalo blue into our shadow just below the pectoral fin on the front side, on this right side. Fantastic. And now you're going to take, get a little bit of more water on my brush. You're going to take just a tiny bit of your black and mix it in with a little bit of your blue, your dark blue, and you're going to go ahead and fill in the mouth portion of your great white shark. You can kind of feather it out using your finger if you would like. All right, so now this is our basic colors for our great white shark, and we're going to start refining them once we give them a minute to dry. We'll hop back into the next part of this lesson and refine our great white shark to have highlights and lowlights.